everyone, and thanks for getting locked in with your girl Key. On this channel, Love Key, we're all about beauty, lifestyle, wellness, and a little bit of educational tips. So, in today's video is going to be a lifestyle video about how to date with a purpose. I am going to give you some tips on how I am dating with a purpose. It's up to you if you take them or not. However, these are just my suggestions. So, if you want to hear those tips, go ahead and stay tuned. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. Let's go. So, one of the hottest topics right now in relationships is dating with a purpose. So, I thought it would be best to share my tips on how I date with a purpose. Before we jump into this video, I want to go ahead and tell everyone, make sure you turn that red subscribe button gray, subscribe to my channel, and if you are already a lovey, thank you so much for the support. Click that notification bell just to get notified for future content. And last but not least, give this a thumbs up if you like this video. Also, you can comment down below one tip that you have when dating with a purpose. Thank you so much again for the continuous support. But let's go ahead and jump into this video. So, number one, pray/meditate. So number one, you want to make sure you pray. For me, I pray to God. If you meditate or visualize, it's all up to you. But for me, I do pray to God. Now, I like to pray, and I think a lot of people miss out on this other part, but I like to pray for the type of man I want, plus the type of relationship I want. A lot of times we are specific about the man, but we're not specific about how we would like the relationship to go. God likes us to be specific. Just like when you ask God for a new car, but you don't tell God how you want to get that new car. I know a person that asked God for a new car, ended up getting into a car accident, got a new car, but that is not how he or she wanted that new car, wanted to get that new car. So when you ask God for something, you want to make sure you're very, very, very specific. So therefore, when asking for a type of relationship and a type of guy, you want to be specific about both. So therefore, I can ask for a guy that's God-fearing. However, that doesn't mean he goes to church. He just might love God. He might just fear God. However, I never asked for a guy that, goes to church. So I get with this guy. And when I get with this guy, he doesn't like going to church. Now he has all these bad views about church and X, Y, and Z. And now you back to square one because he is God-fearing. He loves God, but he don't like going to church. So just throw the whole man away all over again and start again. But I'm just saying, you want to make sure you're specific. So, okay, yes, God, I want a guy that is God-fearing, that loves you, that wants to serve you. And in our relationship, we serve the Lord together. We serve the Lord together at church. And when we go to church, we bring our whole family. Write it down. It is okay if it's 4 pages long. Write it down. God will still hear it, and he will still manifest it for you. So write it down. Have patience. I can't stress this enough. Every man that comes into our life is not our husband, and it's not always husband material. God is not always sending you your husband. He can be sending a lesson. He could be sending another blessing. However, it doesn't mean that that person is your husband. So have patience. It takes time. Just wait for God's divine timing. And I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm saying that for myself too, because I fall short of not having patience. However, one thing I'm going to tell you, do not ask God for patience. Don't ask him for patience, because if you do, he's going to put you in a situation where you have to be patient. and the wait will be longer. So therefore, don't ask God for patience. Steer away from asking God for patience, but just have patience. Just know that you believe, even just saying to God, God, I believe in your divine timing. God, I believe in your divine timing. Let God know what he's doing is A-okay with you, and you love the journey you're going on. Do not say, Lord, I'm not even going to say it. Don't say that though. All right, number 3, know and understand your own purpose. Everyone has their own purpose in life. However, when we get married, sometimes we tend to forget our purpose. But you need to know your purpose before you get married. Therefore, when you get with that person, you need to make sure your purpose and his purpose align. You cannot do this if you don't know your purpose. If you're still trying to find yourself within a marriage, 9 times out of 10 is going to end in divorce. And a lot of people always ask me, why aren't you married? It's because I keep finding people that honestly, my purpose and their purpose just don't align. And I know that people like, oh, you're being picky or X, Y, and Z. I'm not being picky. I'm not. I just know what God has for me. And I just know my value. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to say that I want to be a big time lawyer, but then I'm dating a drug dealer. That's like total opposites of the spectrum, that their purpose is totally different from mine. So therefore, you need to know your own purpose. They need to know their own purpose, so y'all could come together and align. Trust me, I have seen it over and over again in people relationships, and I'm like, that's just something I don't want for myself. I need to know my purpose, and I need to make sure the guy that I select, or the guy that God sends me, or my husband's goals align or purpose aligns with mine. So number 4, communicate your boundaries. Y'all, I don't know how many times I have to say this. I know this is like something I say all the time. However, I want you to understand that it is okay to communicate what you don't want and your expectations to that person. Well, not your expectations, but your boundaries. The reason why I state that is because a lot of times we end up leaving a person or rejecting a person because they crossed the boundary, but they didn't even know they crossed that boundary. So communicate that boundary, y'all. Communicate it to them. If they cross it after that, then that's on them. But like, I was in a relationship where a guy would always promise me stuff, and I had to literally state to him, listen, you keep crossing this boundary. You keep promising me this, but you're not doing it, and you're not having the action. So now my boundary is, the next time you state that you're going to promise me that you're going to do something and you don't do it, bets are off. I'm over this. And he was upset and everything, but I wish I would have told him at the total beginning, I don't have time for games. Like, listen, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you're not going to do it, leave me alone. That should have been the boundary at the beginning. However, I waited too late till it was an argument, and just, y'all, please set your boundaries. Number 5, communicate your expectations. So let them know, let a guy know on the first date what you want to end up in. Because what ends up happening is a lot of people will be in a relationship for years, and then the guy finally will be like, oh, I don't want to get married. Well, this should have been communicated the first date, because my end goal was to get married. And I do know that some guys change, but my end goal is to get married. So therefore, I want to make sure I get married. So make sure you set your expectations and make sure they are aligned. So number 6, ask. Please, ladies, make sure you ask. Even those questions that you don't want to actually hit on, please ask them, because a lot of times we assume and we actually don't know. But just ask. Even if you get an answer that you don't want to hear, it's just 10 times better to ask those questions. Ask those hard questions and get them out your system, because you will begin to worry and wonder and assume. And you already know what they say about assuming. So, ask. Okay? Ask. Number 7. Look for common goals. So look for a guy that, or don't look for a guy, but when you start dating, look for a guy that has common goals. So when you're dating him, listen to his goals, listen to his values, his morals, what is his political stance. Just make sure you're equally yoked. I can't stress this enough. Make sure you're equally yoked. It is going to help in the long run. Trust me, it is going to help in the long run. Okay? So, for someone that has common goals, don't pursue them. But what I'm saying is, once you start dating them, start finding out what their goals are. Okay? So, do that. Number 8. Quality over quantity. Okay? You want a quality guy. You want a guy that adds value to your life. Not a guy that brings you down. A guy that builds you up and you can grow together. And that's the whole key of having common goals. I'm the one person that does not believe in relationship goals at all. But I love Dana Chanel and her husband. The reason why I love them both, their relationship, is because I love that they're both entrepreneurs. So they both have the heart of actually running a business, and both of their businesses are community driven. They love to give back to the community. They have the common goal of being entrepreneurs, and that's what they do. Make sure you have common goals. You're equally yoked. All right. Your common goals, and that person adds value to your life. So quality over quantity. Okay. And I'm not saying a whole bunch of guys. I'm talking about you just got a guy present and he does not add value to your life. That's just a quantity. That's just a number, boo. You want a guy that's going to add value to your life. So number 8 is quality over quantity. Number 9, build a relationship without the physical. Build a relationship and date without the physical. A lot of times we get our physical emotions, like sexual emotions, confused with our actual emotions about the person. And it really taints how we feel about the person. We, sometimes we'll have, physical intercourse with that person, and we'll fall in love, not understanding that we're not falling in love with them. We're falling in love with the actual experience of having sex with them. So therefore, you want to build a relationship with that person before you have sexual intercourse. Now, I know there are people out there that have had sex, one night stands, and then boom, they're in a marriage. However, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying sometimes as women, we get our emotions totally confused, and it basically clouds our perception of the person. So therefore, to get a clear mind and a clear head, just have a period where you're totally no physical contact, just literally going on dates and getting to know each other. Have fun during this time. Just have a blast. Number 10, don't lower your standards. Make sure you stick to what you want. Because a lot of times we settle, and we settle for people that we would have never even thought about being with. And we'll get into a relationship and then it leads to divorce. So y'all, let's stop settling. Stop settling. Go after what you want. I know a lot of people be like, oh, you're just so picky, you're this. I am, and that's fine with me. However, it's because I am not going to settle, and I don't want to lower my standards because I know my value. So therefore, I just need to make sure I stick to my standard and I don't allow anyone to deteriorate my value by just settling with someone just because I want to get married. So make sure you don't lower your standard, and make sure that person complements your lifestyle. Make sure. All right, so that is how I date with a purpose. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Again, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and click that notification bell. And as always, make sure to stay safe, sane, and sanitized. And as always, all of my videos are done with love, Key.